Hello there, everyone, and welcome to the Division 2 podcast for League of Europe. I'm Jacob, and I'm joined by my co-host, Sir Tam D23.
How are you doing, everyone? Tonight on the podcast, we're going to be running through the Bahrain Grand Prix and Division 2 of LOE that went on at the weekend, and also have a little preview of what's going to go down next time we visit the track in Baku. So, let's get this podcast underway.
We shall indeed. So we'll go through the Bahrain results, which I believe you've got all the quali results up on screen,
Yes, I do. Yep.
and they'll be on screen for you guys as well. So if you'd like to read them out.
Yes, so Campbell taking pole with a 26.2, decent lap from the Scotsman. Your teammate, so
Yep,
he managed to fly the
nicely done,
flag
Campbell.
quite well.
Love that.
Yeah. Sarja in P2, about 700ths of a second behind Campbell. A bit potentially you could say overperforming, but I know he did do quite a lot of practice and he was rewarded with good qualifying and eventually race results, so good job from Sarja. Wave takes P3 on a 26.5. I know he has had a bit of a struggling start to the season and he showed his pace in that qualifying session. Good showing from him. And then some randomer in P4. Don't know who he is.
Yeah,
He's on
the
the
guy that
soft
decided
tires,
he
so
wanted
he
to get
must
moved
be.
down.
It take you too long, man.
Nope. Had to get one in there early.
With a 26.6, but on the softs, I just want to point out. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Mm.
Just out of Mali, P5 on the Supras on 26.7. I know he probably can do a bit better than that, as can the man in P6, old school. Bottle job
Mm.
was promising to put it near pole, but yeah, I think he would have hoped for more, but still not too bad from him, given that he's still quite well. I was going to say new to D2, he's not really, but on his return, he's not doing bad. Just had a
Slowest out of the
Tiggy
super
P7.
soft runners, by the way. Just to point that out there.
Yep,
Sorry,
very
Mark, but
true.
you're slowest out of super runners at super soft. So sorry.
And only 300ths of a second ahead of Tiggy, who was the second best soft runner, or like we'll say the yeah. I was gonna say something a bit cheeky, but yeah, good showing from him. 810 soft pole, just ahead of Army, in the Ferrari, just behind, and then YHYY probably be a little bit disappointed to not be. Probably would have hoped to be in the 26s on those softs, but
Hmm.
nevertheless, he started in P9 ahead of Coco in P10. Not a terrible showing from the Romanian. That rounds out the top 10, and then the drivers had free choice of tyres next up. Tenkan on 27.3 and P11 a second off pole, my teammate.
Mhm.
But he did have obviously free choice of tyre, which helped. Just had a Bray. I know he's been talking down his chances quite a lot, so I'm not sure if he could have done much more than 12. Just had of Evolution and Bastos, kind of the first. Bastos, kind of the first of the guys that didn't get the most representative time in, and then finally. Never mess around at the grid, didn't seem to get a proper lap in. He ended up on a 28.6.
Hmm. Yeah. So ones that I'm quite surprised about. I think we've got to get the elephant out of the room with Sarja in P2. I've got to say that is a great result for him, and same with Wave in P3. Your fellow Scotsman. Sarja in second, Wave in third. Another one I'm shocked with is YH down in ninth, and your teammate down in 11th.
Um, no mention for the good showing from me, P4 on the softs, but
No,
all right, cool.
no.
Thanks, man.
Like I said, you're D1 pace, but you wanted to be moved down.
No, 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 no.
We all
Get out
think
of
it.
here, man.
We all think it. But no, in all seriousness, it was a good lap from you on the soft tyres. Again, Sarja and
I,
Wave
I have
P2 and P3.
just
I
say,
think that's a good showing.
just saying, 2.5 tenths off my PB on softs. Just gonna point that out.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Okay, I'll stop talking.
Yeah, please do.
All right.
Uh, but going through the race now, just having a look at the race start, Campbell looked like he got off to a really good start in the race, and so did Mark actually. He moved up in one corner. He moved up, I think it was 3 or 4 places. Moved into P3.
Um, yeah, I don't want to talk about the start really. I had no idea why, but
He
yeah,
moved
I
down to
didn't
seventh.
quite like. Shut up. Yeah, Campbell got away well. The two Toro Rossos looked very quick early on, old school, with an absolutely rocket start off the line.
Oh yeah.
He was flying and kind of he moved to the inside of me, and that boxed me in quite a lot, so I had to back off and then lost 2 positions under braking.
Mm,
So that's why I dropped back.
yeah.
Crucially behind Tegabe, which kind of affected my first stint. But yeah, it was a great start from old school to get himself up onto the podium
Yeah, I'm just having a
early
look as
on.
well. After turn 3, Campbell and Sargent were already a second ahead of Mark. And that was just after turn 3. So
Yeah,
they got a blistering start. As you said, the two Toro Rossos they've done well. Mally came out, stayed in 5th position. As I said, you moved down quite a few positions.
bottle job.
Yeah, indeed. Never Miss went up 3 positions as well, actually. He was started at the back, he went up into 12th. So he moved ahead of Bree, Evolution, and Bastos. So a good showing from him. I think at the end of lap 1, Sargent ended up taking the lead of the Grand Prix. Campbell, I don't know what happened with Campbell, but I think he made a bit of a mistake. And then we come on to, I think, as you said, lap 4. Yeah, I'm just having a look at it. Lap 4, bit of drama. I think Campbell spun on the long right-hander. Must have clipped the curb of it, spun around, almost took a couple cars with him. And that basically was the end of his race. So Sargent then
Yeah,
moves up into 1st position with the two Toro Rossos just behind him.
yeah. Campbell did actually fall down to fourth before he spun the car. He just seemed his tires just went off.
Oh, really?
I'm not actually sure if he spun it on his own or he got spun by Mally because the Haas driver was basically was all over the back of him, and
Mm,
obviously there's every chance that he did lose it, but not too sure about that one. It's hard to really say. I believe it was Tegabe, myself, and YHO went off the track
to avoid it.
to avoid. And crucially, YH ended up being given a very harsh 5 second stop go, which
Oh,
could have
really?
changed the course. Yeah, could have changed the course of the race, to be honest, because he did have great pace, and
Yeah.
yeah, that allowed me to actually jump him in the pit stops. So
That's unfortunate for him.
yeah, yeah.
But that's the game. There's nothing much more we can do about it. And if he already served it, then stewards can't even take it off of him. So they have to
Mm.
keep it. That's just unfortunate for him, but hopefully his redemption comes in the next race anyway. But moving swiftly forward, I think Tiggerby and Old School got in a little bit of a battle. Um, Something happened with, I don't know what happened with Old School, but I know he was doing quite well. Oh wait, no, it was him and Tin Can, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. So basically, what happened was the Red Bull man was coming at the pits, just outbraked himself and went into Old School, and Old School lost a bit of his wing.
Mm,
Even at the time, actually, he was about a second behind me. We'd both made our pit stops, so he
mm.
could have had a very good result as well. But yeah, it was unfortunate for him. Just a bit slight misjudgment from Tin Can.
Yeah. It
And
happens though,
ultimately, Old
it's
School ended up.
racing. There's not much
Yeah,
more you can really do about it. But I'll skip forward all the way towards the end of the race. Let's have a look. So you and Sargent were going at it for the past, what was it, 3 last laps? Well, as
three or
I was
four
catching
laps. Yeah.
all the way up to you guys. I think it was about 4 seconds in the last couple of laps and caught up. I was only like a second behind you.
Yeah, because yeah, I think during the second stint, the gap between me and YH was fairly stagnant. I maybe pulled away by about half a second to a second, but once I caught Sarge, just all hell broke loose, and he ended up going on a massive charge and almost catching us at the end.
Mm,
But yeah, as for my second stint, was I legitimately lost about 3 seconds on my first 2 laps going out the pits. Partly down to cold tires, partly down to me being a bit of a melon and just forgetting how to drive.
Mm.
Because I came out the pits about about a second and a half behind Sarja and ended up being closer at 5 seconds behind him and left
Yeah.
myself with a bit too much work to do. And I only had 3 lap fresher tires than him, but I was still able to close down the gap as the stint went on.
Yeah, so it was definitely a very interesting race to say the least. But if we go towards the end of race results, we have obviously you finished in first, so congratulations to you
Just
on that one. Just Sergeant in P2 only it was only a tenth and a half behind you, or more than a tenth and a half, but it was
yeah,
really close.
yeah, he was ahead of me going through the last lap. He overtook me at turn one, and then penultimate corner, I just licked the stamp and sent it on the inside. I managed to park it on the apex enough so he had nowhere to go, and managed to defend it into the last corner. I think I broke my mic with shouting after that race. I was shaking as well. I was so stressed. For most of it, I didn't drive well and only really got the groove on the latter half and started to hunt down the leaders.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sargent put up one hell of a fight despite his older tires. Like I couldn't shake him. And I made a mistake on the penultimate lap, which let him get in as well.
Mm.
But yeah, that last lap was so tense, and I refused to lose that race. I was not going to lose that race after making that fight back.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you on that one. But anyway, yeah, as I said, but going through the results, you obviously finished in first position, Sarger in second. YH was less than a second behind the both of you. So he did
Yeah,
make a massive catch-up job. I think one more lap and it would have been a three-way battle for the lead. So it was very
indeed. Yeah.
close. Tin Can made his way up from 11th into 4th position. Same with Evolution, made his way from 13th up into 5th. Bree
Oh,
was also included in that. Went up from
yeah.
12th to 6th.
Can I just point out the strategy from Evolution and Bree was absolutely spot on, and that's why they were able to jump up. Evolution was only 5 seconds off the win in the end, despite starting way down the field. So it just kind
Yeah,
of shows how much of a difference the strategy can make.
yeah.
But yeah, the field in general was really close, which was great to see. Um, I believe the top 9 or so were covered by um, 18 seconds, if I'm not
Top
mistaken.
10.
So top 10 were covered by 18 seconds, man.
Yeah.
You don't see that in a lot of top divisions of certain leagues. So it was like such a competitive race. I think Bahrain usually produces quite a close field and good battling, and it was a great race, I have to say, an absolutely fantastic race from the whole grids.
It was, as I said, what everyone done looked like they've done quite well. Tigamy finished in P7 where he started. It was unfortunate for the two Toro Rossos because I think they both caught up in an incident with Tin Can. So Wave finished down
Yeah,
in 8th and Old School finished down in 9th.
Wave was actually running in P2 for a lot of the final part of the race.
Hmm.
I'm not sure if Waves actually caught up in an instant with Tin Can. He was side by side, but it did look like he just dropped it on his own coming out of turn one, which was really unfortunate because
Yeah.
he was, I believe he was on for P4 at that stage.
Yeah.
Um,
I think on the stream it
but
looked like he may have done it on his own, but I think from his point of view, I think Tin Can may have oversteered it a little bit and went into the side of him and spun it.
okay.
But I could be completely wrong. I could just be talking
I,
absolute crap. So,
I almost had that with Sarja. I went to the inside going into turn one, and he had a little slide and very nearly wiped me out. I just about managed to avoid it. I
yeah,
lost quite a bit of time. I lost almost a second, but it was worth it to stay in the fight. But yeah,
yeah,
really unfortunate for Wave. He did drive a really good race.
yeah. It is unfortunate for him, but Bastos finished in P10. He was he had a pretty decent result, I must say, going from 14th up to 10th. And don't forget, this man races at about 3:30 in the morning. So
Yeah,
that's that's pretty good for him, I must say. And then
that's the effect of the League of Europe right there.
yeah, exactly, literally the League of Europe, racing at 3:30 in the morning. And then to finish off the point scorers, Campbell finished in P11, 45 seconds behind the lead, but obviously what would that incident that happened with Mally, or he could have been it on his own, we still don't know. It is unfortunate for him. Still gets points though, because as I said, it's now the top 12 that get points. Coco finished 12th, but I don't think he completed 90% of the race. I could be completely wrong on that. Oh,
I
in
believe
fact, I
he
think I am. Uh,
I believe he did actually he did leave the session, so it was his AI car that was driving.
right, okay. Okay. Maybe not then. But hey ho. Yeah, so then the guys that didn't end up finishing was also Never Miss, Army, and who's the final one? I believe. Oh, it was Mally. Mally didn't finish. I think he was the first one that was
Yeah,
out. So
yeah.
unfortunate for Mally, but it is what it is. But overall, in the Bayern Grand Prix, you had, of course, you won. Treat this as like a little mini podium interview. How did that race feel?
It's really tense, I've got to say. I was fighting cars for most of it, but yeah. Um, I was driving kind of out of frustration at the start after a bad start, got held up behind Tegabe,
Hmm.
almost. And then there was one moment where YHYY produced one of the best moves I've ever seen. It was the two of us that were up to the back of Mark after he was struggling on his super softs. I
Yeah.
went to the inside of turn four. Mark squeezes me. YH just goes straight around the outside of both of us, and I get caught on the inside because Mark gets a bit of oversteer and I have to back off
Yeah.
and YHYY Donuts. But I was so frustrated at that moment, and I dive bombed Mark in the exact same way that I dive bombed Sarja at the end. Yeah, I think it took me a while to really get over that frustration. Once I did, I started to make my way through the fields.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a really, really tight race, and after all the frustrations, I wasn't going to lose that race.
No, I don't blame you.
Just
So you just charged on it on the second stint. So look, that's really like the second stint was where you sort of thrived going into
yeah,
it. Yeah. Um, but in all honesty, I'll probably say for drivers of the day, I would include the guys that finished 4th, 5th, and 6th in there, yourself and YH, because Sarja
sure.
obviously started in second, finished in second. Still a brilliant result for
Yeah,
Sarja, but I would have to say it would be one of the guys 4th, 5th, 6th, YH, or yourself. Basically, all of the top
I
six.
I would say, if I'm honest, I would probably have to go with Evolution.
Yeah, he,
Like,
he is in there, without a doubt. 13th up to 5th position. Like
yeah,
that is something you cannot sleep on. I think he's finished in the points for these past 3 races now, and I think if I'm not mistaken, he's like third in the championship.
he's up there for sure. He's definitely top five, no doubt about that. And that's the thing with Evolution. He doesn't have the best outright pace. He was actually placed in D3 to start with, but he just gets about his job quietly,
Yeah,
does what he needs to do, and racks up points. And that's exactly what he's done. And he's a bit like your knee Waluigi in D1. Just goes about his business, takes advantage of everyone else having mistakes, and just gets good results consistently.
yeah. I mean, that's what you really got to do in a game like it. Well, in a game like this. So I can't really say that I blame it at all. But moving on,
Yeah.
next week we have it's not China, it's Baku. So I think on the calendar it said it was China, but it's been changed over to Azerbaijan.
Yeah, that is going to be an interesting one. Azerbaijan, one of the most technically challenging tracks on the calendar, I have to say. Walls looming at every side of the track. Of course, the infamous castle section where many a driver has lost a wheel going through there.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's just so many challenges, and I think we'll be seeing. I don't think we'll see as close of a race as we saw in Bahrain. That's all I'm going to say.
yeah. No, it will be really. I think it will be tight at the front, but I think it'll be more spaced out in the midfield. I could definitely see it. I could probably
Mm.
see like about 10 people finishing in it. But I will also be near it racing there next week. I haven't raced in the past 2 races only because I've had a lot of stuff to do. So I will be racing in Azerbaijan. I'll be racing them rest of these races all the way up to France. I think I just miss out on France and then carry on. So I'm looking forward to that. any sort of predictions that you think for Azerbaijan? Anyone that you
Um,
reckon could be a threat? Anyone that you may not even think of that could be out there? Because I've got one in mind.
um, I'm gonna have to say Caesar.
Okay.
Because I was looking at the time trial times, and he has a very quick time. I know time trial isn't the most representative, but it still has a good picture of outright pace, and he
Oh yeah.
was, phew, he was rapid. I believe I'm about 600ths of a second faster than him, so we're basically even on pace. So
Yeah. I know he is leading the D2 Championship at the moment as well. I think it's
yeah,
him. Who is it? Him. It could be YH and then Evolution. I could be getting that completely mixed up, but I'm sure we'll have like a championship total going on. So I think he is. I know. I definitely know that he's leading the championship at the moment, though.
yeah, he has 100%. So yeah, Caesar has been looking very strong this season. Of course, didn't race in Bahrain as well, so he he's definitely a threat to me. I think he'll be pretty damn quick. But I think anyone that's able to stay out of trouble at Baku is going to get a good result.
Yeah,
Just that people are able to
regardless.
keep out of the walls.
Yeah,
So that's when you could. I think Evolution could really shine there, because he's such a consistent driver. So he'll also be very strong around there, I think.
yeah. If I'm not mistaken, this is the person that I'm going to go for. I'm pretty sure Coco won D3 last season very convincingly, like in
Okay.
Baku. I'm I'm quite sure of it. Coco is probably one that you would have to watch out for in Baku, without a doubt.
Okay. Interesting.
He's definitely one that I think can finish probably on the podium.
Wow. Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. Gonna be interesting to see how Coco fares. I'll have a look and see that D3 race last season, but if he was that quick, then fair play to him.
Mm.
But yeah, I just look at the championship standings. Evolution is actually second ahead of YHYY.
Oh,
Um,
he's
not
second.
finished on, yeah, not finished on the podium, but he's been in the top five in every race, which is just insane consistency.
Let's
YH
see if he
has
keeps
two
that stat up.
podiums and yeah. Currently, as for me, I'm sitting in P5, 18 points off the lead, which is pretty good after the first race, but it's
Yeah,
going to be difficult to catch Caesar. He does look to be. He seems to have sorted out his consistency issues that he had last season, and he's
yeah.
going to be definitely a threat for the championship, I'd say.
I mean, it's the same for me. I'm gonna have to try and see if I can catch up because I've only got 10 points at the moment and I haven't raced in the past two races, so I'm sitting there
It's not
struggling
like
by
you.
about 33 points behind.
Yeah.
Obviously, I know you
It's
said
not
it's not
like you
like
to
me,
be.
but it's
Yeah,
because I missed out two races. I finished fifth in Australia because I am an idiot. So
true.
it is what it. Oi, it is what it is. But
Yeah, I think you and Campbell were picked up as a big championship contending constructors team, and it's not
mm,
going great for either of you right now. Campbell, of course, does have a podium,
mm,
but you guys haven't really been attending races, which hasn't helped. I think if you guys
no.
both start showing up, then you'll both be up there for sure. So it'll be interesting to see.
All I got to do is just show up and win the championship. I like that idea.
Eh,
It'll
calm it
be
down,
interesting,
man.
though. It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
But I believe that's all we've really got to sort of talk about for the rest of the podcast. I think we also bring up the constructors. I think Williams are in the lead at the moment. Obviously, Caesar and Sarge are they're doing quite well.
Uh,
I've got to
uh,
say.
uh, uh, Red
Or
Bull are
Red Bull.
actually leading. Yeah, because the points from RJ when he was in D2 still count, so we're
I
in the
don't
lead by
count them.
16 points ahead of Williams. But Williams do have both their drivers near the top of the near the top of the championship.
Mm,
We don't have that yet, but
yeah,
yeah, because RJ's points have carried over, not the drivers, but in the constructors, we're leading by 16 points with Haas in thirds.
fair enough. Fair enough indeed. me and Campbell, we're gonna need to try and build ourselves back up. Start it as if like this is a new start of the season at Baku. Probably one of the worst races for me, but I just got to plough through it and not into other cars. So on that note, I think we will end the podcast on that. Thank you guys for watching the podcast. You can catch the D1 stream, which me and Tam will be commentating on. I think you are commentating on this one. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so me and Tam will be commentating it. This will be at 6 p.m. on the 23rd of March. So be sure to tune into that. Or if you don't want to hear us, which I don't blame you, tune into D2 stream at 7:30. Which I think will be commentated by Rob and maybe Cookie. I could be wrong. Or if you don't want to watch us at all, it's completely up to you. You can tune into D3 stream at 6:15. I know that there are quite some close battles in Division 3. So whichever one you prefer to tune into, be our guest. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. You got any last words for us, Tam?
All I'm gonna say is, please don't plow into me at Baku, please.
I will try my hardest. I cannot guarantee anything though. But as I said, thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you in the next podcast or in the streams.
Bye.